Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm in Ryan Park and we're gonna watch Black Widow. And like usual, we're gonna give you guys a spoiler review at the end of the movie, and then we're gonna go to Jollibee to eat some dinner because I'm hungry right now. And don't forget to give this video a like, a share, and subscribe, and hopefully you guys can support me in my GoFundMe campaign down in the description below. And please be kind in the comment section and enjoy the video. Finally, the indoor dining is open here at Jollibee Manhattan, and I'm excited to eat here. Like as you can see, usually. It's nice that things are starting to go back to normal, and I'm so happy. So I encourage each and every one of you guys to get vaccinated so all of us can go back to normal. Here you go, Jollibee. You excited? Of course I'm excited. I'm always excited. It's Jollibee. See, look. They finally had the spicy chicken. Spicy fried chicken. You see? Finally. It's been a while. See, this is yours.
So this is the Jolly flavor?
Yeah.
Jolly
Well, this
spaghetti.
is the Jolly spaghetti with the regular chicken, fried chicken. I got the spicy fried chicken. I don't know why you don't like spicy fried chicken. It's not even spicy. Here, here's for you. And then here's my other sides.
You got two sides, right?
Yeah. See, spaghetti. No, three sides actually. Spaghetti, then mashed potato, and then adobo rice. Then I think this is your gravy.
I got the small gravy.
Let's see. Adobo rice, and then gravy.
And these are the pineapple quenches we've got before.
Yeah. And you see gravy.
And then of course, for dessert, the peach mango pie.
Peach mango pie, yeah. Here you go.
Well, are you looking forward to the movie? We're going Black Widow?
Of course. I'm looking forward to eat Jollibee more than them.
If you have a certain amount of people dining here. I noticed because I was looking at when you order it online, you can make different additions and things like extra sauce with the spaghetti.
Which spaghetti? This spaghetti?
Yeah,
Really?
you probably can ask too. It's just like if you don't know what to ask, they're not gonna ask if you do extra sauce. I just thought you could do that when you order.
So you can order Jollibee from your work?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, I'd have to get it delivered. I don't know if it's worth it. You have to pay extra. And especially if it's just me eating.
So I just found that out. They finally do online delivery through DoorDash. Because back then I suggested it to them, but they don't want to do that. Well, because of COVID, they were forced to do that. They were forced to innovate because of COVID. spicy. Says they're spicy. Spicy. See, I told you it's not even spicy. You're the one thinking that it's spicy. It's not spicy. It's just well seasoned chicken.
So how many of the Marvel movies have you seen with Black Widow? You know all the movies that Black Widow's in?
Infinity War. Captain America. The Captain America one.
Which ones?
Infinity War and then the first Avengers, I believe. Back then she was curly.
Yeah.
She got a bad
Do you know
perm
the
back then.
first Marvel appearance? Do you know what the first Marvel appearance was?
Not really.
Iron Man 2.
Really? I haven't seen all the Marvel movies.
She first made her appearance in Iron Man 2. And then she was in Avengers. And then I believe the next one was Captain America Winter Soldier.
But she was curly back then. I preferred the long silky hair.
Yeah, well, like in the first Avengers. And then she was obviously in Avengers Age of Ultron. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And Captain America Civil War, of course. Followed by Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
Endgame, yeah. But at least I'm gonna see her with long silky hair though. Not
So
that
this
good.
movie takes place between Captain America Civil War and then Avengers Infinity War.
Well, the right question. Do you even consider this as a spoiler review?
No, because we don't know what happens in.
But we already know what happened to her character.
Yeah, in Avengers Infinity.
So is that even
Avengers
considered a spoiler?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, you can already talk about what happened in Endgame. That came out years ago. So obviously, well, you're not gonna. I don't know if you're gonna see that. It's possible it might start with that and then flashback. Who knows?
But is that considered spoiler?
No.
Unless you haven't seen the entire
If you haven't
MCU.
seen Endgame, but you know, all the Marvel movies kind of assume that you've seen them.
No, probably the entire movie is gonna be in her perspective. You know, on her point of view, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like what's happening during this time on her point of view. Or something.
No, I think everything is happening before Avengers Infinity War. I think the most you're gonna get is maybe leading up to Infinity War. Maybe you see her dye her hair blonde. But I don't think you're gonna see anything else.
Are
It's
we
not
go-
gonna catch up.
Are we gonna see her lesbian adventures though? We're supposed to see her lesbian adventures. I didn't to see lesbian adventures.
You think people are gonna be yelling in the theater if she dyes her hair blonde?
What if it's a weed?
Well, it's probably a post-credit scene. I've heard from some people who weren't that happy about this movie that they were still happy about one of the end credit scenes.
But overall, I'm just happy we can eat inside Jollibee now. Like Bryant Park is nice, but it's different when you're eating it in the actual Jollibee. So.
Do you like the adobo rice here?
Of course. I like the adobo in general. I know they don't sell blood still because dinuguan is my favorite Filipino food. That's why like I said on my last video, like I'm not vegan. I eat vegan food, but I'm not vegan. But yeah, if they can find a way to make Bloods 2 vegan, then okay, I'm on board.
So what are you hoping to see in Black Widow?
I just want to see like action, make it action packed.
One of the things I have heard from one of the reviews is that one of the action sequences does get almost cartoonish at a point. I don't know. Something about a mall. I'm assuming they're gonna be like driving a huge truck through the mall and somehow, you know, people aren't getting massacred. And she's driving a motorcycle through the mall as well.
Oh, do you think it's gonna be like? Are you familiar with the Resident Evil franchise? Do you think it's gonna be like that? She's gonna fight like that? She got superhuman abilities or something.
Well, I heard from some people that like basically she's acting like she has superhuman abilities even though she's not a super soldier.
Or
Like from the way she's able to survive things.
what's this movie? Have you seen like Aeon Flux? Have you heard of Aeon Flux?
I've heard of that.
It's like that, or like well, it's not gonna be grotesque like Kill Bill or something. Even though I wanted it to be like that, blood everywhere, but they're not gonna do that.
She's still in heaven.
Exactly. Like I
I
want
wanted to see if they let Deadpool be R-rated.
I just want to see her decapitate her enemies.
Do you think there will be any surprise cameos?
Probably. Are we gonna see Captain America when he was younger?
Probably not. I think I would have already heard about it. But it's not impossible.
Well, since he went back in time, are we gonna see like the older version again?
So this is also in gravy?
Yeah. Mashed potato. You're American. You're supposed to like gravy.
Not just the It's very sweet.
Well, yeah, it's Filipino style.
It's like it's not just smothered with butter, but like injected with butter. Like half of it is potato, the other half is butter.
It's Filipino style, of course. We just finished watching Black Widow and it was awesome, and I will give you guys a spoiler review in a few. Hi guys, so now we are back in our apartment to give you guys a spoiler review for Black Widow. But before anything, let me open up something. Look at this, guys. See, because this is gonna be an interesting review, so that's why I'm opening up like a beer to make things a little more interesting, I guess. Here you go, and one's for me. So I guess cheers. Cheers to you guys, and let's drink.
So Black Widow, what are your first impressions?
Well, remember I was telling you earlier, like in the earlier footage that we shot, like is it even gonna be a spoiler review? Because like we already know what happened to her.
But you don't know what happens to her in this movie.
Well, Kind, kind of. Well, it's how can I say? I enjoy the movie. To be honest, there's a lot of humor in this movie that I didn't expect to come from this movie. Honestly.
Well, it's a Marvel movie. They all have humor. It's kind of a Marvel formula at this point.
Mm-hmm. When did this start to begin with? With Thor, I think, right?
No, Iron Man. The first Iron Man. That's when
like jokes like this. Jokes like this. Making jokes like this.
Well, yeah, they've had jokes since the beginning. I mean, the first Thor movies didn't have quite as much. You saw a lot more in movies like Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it's Thor Ragnarok.
They've had jokes since the beginning. Even the first two Thor movies had jokes, just not as much.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually felt the humor was well done.
Mm-hmm.
So
how many directors should I say directed this film? Just one?
Yeah, just one. It was directed by Kate Shortland.
No, because for some reason I feel like there's two directors in here. Wanna know why? No, because the thing is, like, the first half of the movie, for some reason, like, I feel like it's a man who filmed it, because there's a lot of focus on her ass.
Well, here's the thing.
They're focusing on her ass. Like,
here's the thing. Any movie is not is a group effort in a way,
okay.
And these Marvel movies are. They are produced by a lot of people as well. So, I don't know the exact reason for that, but it was directed by a woman. So you can't just blame the director and say that it's just a misogynist director.
Well, I'm not saying misogynist. Like, it's just I don't know.
It wasn't that many shots. It was like maybe 2 to 3 that were like kind of had a focus on her ass as
it's very noticeable. Like, they're focusing on her ass. And I don't know if she know this, or she probably know this, and she got paid
for
to
all
do
you
this.
know, it's in her contract that
you gotta show her ass.
Yeah, that.
And here's the thing, because the second part, I feel like all of a sudden it turned into like a super feminist movie or something.
No,
like army women.
Well, that's the whole point of the Red Room, is this all female assassins.
Army of women and the evil man. How dare he be the man?
No.
Like, I'm not saying I'm against it. It's just, I don't know, like the theme that they're trying to, or the messaging they're trying to send into this movie. Like, I notice it, like, and they're focusing on it too much. Like, oh, we're using one thing we have in abundance, and they focus on, which is women. And like, okay, this is a feminist movie, right? Well,
it has a female superhero.
Which is, I don't mind. I enjoy Scarlett Johansson. And I remember, like, this trailer for remember when she did what's this movie, Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah.
And they made an honest trailer to it. Like, she becomes a robot and a voice and all of it, and she became one.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, speaking of female superheroes, how would you compare this to Captain Marvel? Let's start there. Because you could say, like, there is some messaging in this movie about like female empowerment and men using women, especially that's just in the Red Room concept itself. This idea of them taking young girls and training them to be elite assassins. That's just there. Will. I mean, if you were to try and ignore it, that would be weird. But and then compared to a movie like Captain Marvel, that I feel like outside of the marketing for that movie doesn't really have a strong message. Sure, in the movie itself, I just feel like it didn't do it very well. You have Carol Danvers sort of discovering herself, and there's sort of this message that they're trying to convey where they have these scenes where, like, it shows scenes of her past and people are telling, you can't do that, you're a girl, and stuff like that. It just doesn't really play out really all that well in that movie. So I would say Captain Marvel, I felt, was a disappointment. Especially the more times I go back to that movie, I feel like I'm the more disappointed in what that movie could have been. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a bad movie. It's just, it's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely put Black Widow above that.
Yeah.
Definitely put Black Widow above Captain Marvel.
Especially with like the action sequence and all of that. Because I feel like for should I call Captain Marvel? I feel like they made her so OP in a way. Like in here, like you can see her like fight and she train and you can see she struggles. But like in Captain Marvel, like I'm invincible.
Yeah, and then
In a way.
I feel like I heard some criticism before the movie came out about how she's a little too invincible. Even Black Widow's a little too invincible in this movie.
Yeah.
I would say, well, no more than any like big action hero. Where like, you at least see her get hurt, and then yeah, you do have the kind of action movie cliche where like, oh, but that was 2 scenes ago, so I'm okay now. But I think that's fine. You see that in other big action movies, so it's not out of place here.
And especially that scene, like if you guys seen the Clone Wars, the last episode of the Clone Wars, or I think like second to the last, I guess, where Ahsoka jumped all the way from like, should I call it space or the clouds, all the way down to the city. I feel like she did that, and she's not a Jedi. Black Widow is not a Jedi. Remember that scene where Ahsoka jumped into like
Yeah,
the spaceship? She did that in this movie.
You see that in the trailers. That especially that scene with Taskmaster coming down and like using the sword to slide down that building. Well, it wasn't a building. It's part of this. You find out in the movie. It's part of the Red Room. It turns out the Red Room is they sort of copied S.H.I.E.L.D. and have their own version of the helicarrier.
Like a fortress in the sky, hiding in the clouds, kind of thing. And here's the thing: what's that serum all about? Because I feel like, you know, the Winter Soldier, right? And like I feel like it's the serum they use to like counteract that thing. Because remember, like they just say something to the Winter Soldier and like he can't control himself.
Yeah,
right?
but that's psychological conditioning. So,
But is it
they
the serum?
even mentioned in the movie. So what Natasha went under was probably a similar sort of thing where they psychologically conditioned her, and that's how they were controlling her before she broke that and went over to S.H.I.E.L.D. But it turns out, as you find out in this movie, the new Red Room program, they're actually chemically controlling the widows.
That's how you call those girls widows.
And that's what the red formula thing, it was something to break that chemical control.
Do you think you
I
can use
mean,
that
it's all a little bit techno-babble in a sense, but that's the general gist behind it. I don't know if you can actually do that sort of thing.
Can you use that to the Winter Soldier, you think?
No, because the Winter Soldier was only ever psychologically conditioned.
You program his mind? So he cannot break away from his control or something?
Well, they already did that. They already broke him free of his conditioning. When they did, that's what they were doing when he was in Wakanda. And if you watched Captain Falcon in the Winter Soldier, you would see he's totally not under that. He can't be controlled anymore.
That's why. And here's the funny thing, though. A lot of people watch this movie, and it's a good thing.
And then actually, one of the things, because of the release schedule, got jumbled up. You know, in the post-credit scene, you see that woman played by
Adventures of New Christine. That's her,
yeah,
right?
or Elaine from Seinfeld, or
okay.
She was in Captain Falcon. I want to say Captain Winter. Captain Falcon in the Winter Soldier.
With the other guy who's on Adventures of New Christine as well.
The other guy.
There's a guy in there that she's with, her leading man, I think.
I don't know.
We can look it up.
What? Because in the Captain Falcon, she's in. That's not right. Why am I saying the Falcon? I kept saying Captain Falcon. That's Nintendo. She's in a scene with the guy who was the new Captain America for a minute.
This guy, Clark Gregg.
No, he wasn't in the Falcon and Winter
But he's
Soldier.
in Marvel movies.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the Falcon.
I think he's in Marvel, right? Captain Marvel.
Yeah, he was in Captain Marvel, but I'm talking. Yeah, he's not in. They didn't have a scene together.
Oh, like Adventures in Old Adventures in New Christine.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
what you're saying now.
But they're in the same universe.
Yeah, but he's dead.
Oh.
He died. Well,
For real?
he was dead, and then he wasn't dead, but then now he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think because in Avengers, he died in the first Avengers movie, and then in the TV show Agents of Shield, they brought him back to life, and then you didn't even find out how they brought him back to life until like the end of season 1, I think, or maybe it was even season 2, and I think later on in the show, which I have not watched, in like season 6 or 7, they gets killed off and he gets replaced by basically a robot duplicate. And then maybe that doesn't even count because the question of whether Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still canon or not is kind of up there in the air, because I think a lot of the directors, at least with the MCU, don't really consider it fully canon because it wasn't made by Marvel Studios. I think it's more one of those things where like it's you can consider it somewhat canon until the movies decide to do something that contradicts it, and then it's no longer canon.
So, do you think? Well, obviously, I don't have to like spoil things to you. If you guys watch the movie Endgame, like we already know, Black Widow will sacrifice her life. Okay, so on this movie, like she got a sister. Well, technically, sister. Should I call her sister? Because that's the only. They were kidnapped when they were younger, to be train into being a killer, or something like that. And they're planning to like a spy on the US in a way in the 1990s, basically. And
like, what did you think of that whole opening? I didn't really know what to expect going into this movie, so I guess I'd seen a little bit of that in the trailer where you get to see a younger Natasha. I didn't know how it was going to come up in this movie at all, but we get this extended prologue, which shows Natasha, where she was part of this family unit, you could call it, because they even address that later in the movie where they talk about, well, it wasn't a real family, they were just because they were posing as an American family to infiltrate American society, which was a thing you may have seen in other movies. There's even a recent TV show about a couple, I think, posing as Americans. I think The Americans, it's called.
There's a lot of movies like that, and now especially they lose the restriction when it comes to like COVID restriction. So there's a lot of people in the movie theater, and we enjoyed it. There's a lot of humor in this movie that I enjoy, especially that joke like her sister made. Like, how come whenever you jump and you make this pose, and she did the pose, and it's funny as well.
And then especially there was a lot of humor with David Harbour's character. What was he called again? Well, his name is Alexei, but what was his superhero name? It was Red Guardian. That's
Red Guardian.
I kept singing Winter Soldier. No, that's a different character.
Because basically that's Russia's answer to Captain America, but he went to jail and he got fat. So.
And I thought it was interesting that how they had him. He kept talking about how he fought Captain America and all of that. I think that's just going back to the days of like he was a character. I think. In the comics, a contemporary of Captain America, but this version isn't really. At least I don't think so. It's kind of hard to say for sure in the movie, but it seems like he would have been around after Captain America was already frozen in ice. And then by the time Captain America came about, got unfrozen near the beginning of the MCU, he would have been in jail. Or prison.
And here's the thing. in this movie. I was expecting to see like other Marvel characters, but I didn't see any of them in this movie.
Yeah, I
For
didn't
some
really
reason, I don't know why.
expect to see any.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: who's this guy she's seeing all the time, providing her supplies and all of that? That's not her boyfriend.
No,
'Cause-
I saw people thinking that was probably going to be a love interest before the movie came out, but no, that's just a guy who
Yeah.
he's like her supplier, her like
Yeah, but I was expecting her to like kiss this guy. Honestly, though.
yeah.
I was expecting her to kiss this guy, and then all of a sudden I think like, why didn't she kiss this guy? Probably she being racist, right?
No, it's just they did. I was okay with the movie that it didn't go there. I like you when he showed up in that first scene, then I kind of expected it to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially she walks in the trailer and he's sleeping in her bed. So at first I thought, oh, so she's with this guy and that's how they're gonna do this. But no, he's just a guy who she knows, she pays to get her stuff.
And that's the right question: where does she get all her money? She's a fugitive in this movie.
Yeah, but she probably has secret accounts from over the years, from working with the Red Room and S.H.I.E.L.D. and who knows what else.
Okay.
She probably has hidden accounts and things like that. She's a spy. She knows how to get money.
I guess.
She's not just a spy. She's a super spy.
Mhm.
I'm sure she has money hidden away.
Mhm.
Like when she went back to that Budapest place, the safe house, she had a gun hidden somewhere.
They say it's Budapest.
Budapest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still say Budapest.
It's Budapest. Respect the name of the place, according to the locals. That's why. But yeah, I was expecting her to kiss this guy, but it didn't happen. And what's this jet? Like, there's this big moment about this jet. Like, does she own this jet? I don't remember this in like the past movies for some reason.
I
don't know why.
think that's the jet they show up in Avengers Infinity War. So, do you remember at the end of Captain America Civil War where Steve Rogers shows up and breaks the other guys out of prison?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be taking place after the post-credit scene of this movie. Because she even says, I'm going to go help free some guys.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we didn't see exactly where she was during that scene. And you didn't know exactly when that scene was taking place either. Because it just happens later after Civil War. So this movie takes place entirely between the end of Civil War and before that post-credit scene with Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know she was probably there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she probably was in the jet, and they probably went and broke those guys out of jail. And then later on, I think you see that same Quinjet. I could be wrong, but I think you see it in Avengers Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one they are flying. They fly to from England when they pick up Vision and the Scarlet Witch, and they go to Wakanda.
Mm. Okay, it's been a while since the last time I saw that movie, but like, yeah, they're trying to like reference this jet, and like for some reason it's a big deal or something. I can tell they're trying to make it a big deal, but
I think
relate to it.
it's just they're trying to show you where this is on the timeline.
Mm.
Because they have her purposely dye her hair blonde like she has
Yeah.
in Avengers Infinity War, and they show her going to the jet, and they have her say, "I'm gonna go help free some guys,"
Mm-hmm.
or she doesn't say exactly. She says something like that. It's to let fans know, or people in the know who are paying attention, where this is in the timeline. And it's interesting too. Like, if you think, really, except for that post-credit scene in this movie, this could have easily been shown in theaters before Avengers Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. Well, why do you think that is, though?
Huh?
Why do you think that is?
Why? Because
Well,
because
they're-
everything took place before Infinity War.
No, because probably they're testing the market, if how the market would react to it, probably.
No, I think it's just they wanted to make a Black Widow film, and she dies in Endgame. What are you gonna do after that?
Yeah.
So, but there's nothing stopping you from doing a movie like this, where like, well, why can't you tell a Black Widow story that just happens to take place in the timeline? It's not like you've seen every little thing she's ever done. So I think this fit in really well. We didn't know exactly how that was going to work, but I think it did. And I'm fine with these sort of movies. I mean, I don't want every other movie to be something like this, where like you have to be thinking, where is this in the timeline? But I think it works well enough that, you know, it would have been nicer if this movie had been made pre-Infinity War and had come out pre-Infinity War. Yes. And obviously, the only thing that would have had to be different would be the post-credit scene, because obviously that only makes sense after Endgame.
Do you think there's gonna be a sequel to this movie though? Because honestly, I was talking to you earlier. Like, I feel like they're gonna make like a movie where they're gonna show like everything that's been happening. Like, let's just say in the Infinity War and Endgame, like on her perspective, kind of like in Spider-Man. Remember?
I don't.
Remember that scene from Spider-Man, like when they're facing like Captain America, and like he's doing like some kind of selfie or something like that. Like, oh, there's Captain America right there or something.
Yeah,
remember that scene or no?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't really know if you need to do that. I don't think it's impossible to get a sequel. You would just have to do it between the movies somewhere. I think even with this, with her getting the blonde hair and you know, she's not going directly into Infinity War, because there's still time between when they break the other Avengers out of prison and Infinity War. There's still a certain amount of time. I don't know, 2 years or something like that. So, you know, there could still be an adventure. Actually, one thing I think would be interesting would be a Secret Avengers movie.
And who's gonna be in there?
Well, because we know that Sam Wilson as the Falcon and Captain America were off doing missions and stuff during that time span where they were fugitives. And Scarlet Witch maybe was with them with some of the time too. So I don't realistically think it's going to happen, but that's like one of the movies that I think is a little disappointed we didn't get, just because you can't make all the movies in the world, but would be a Secret Avengers movie with a Steve Rogers that's not really Captain America because he's on the run.
And honestly, I was expecting like I don't know. I was expecting like Captain America, the old one. Because remember, he went to the past.
But that happened in Endgame. That happened at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
She,
but like him showing up in this.
Oh,
but
like in the past, like if he.
But it's gonna mess
traveled?
up the timeline though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that I don't know. That would have been weird if they tried to fit that in. And why would you even do old Steve Rogers at that point? Like, if you're having his time traveling Steve Rogers, you could have even just had Steve Rogers time travel back just to say goodbye to Natasha one last time. But from her perspective, it would have been a little weird. Yeah, because she doesn't know she's gonna die. You could have done that, but I don't think that would have worked all that well.
And then on the end credit scene, like basically they gave her, I forgot her name, Old Adventures of New Christine girl, like a mission, Natasha's sister.
Yeah.
A mission to like
Yelena.
Okay. Yelena give her a mission to, should I say, assassinate the Arrow. What's the name of the Arrow again?
That's Hawkeye.
I was gonna say Jeremy Renner.
Clint Barton. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but he is getting his own Disney Plus show. Where we already knew that Yelena was going to be in that show. So now we know why she's going to be in that show, because she's been tasked to take out Hawkeye.
Do you think she's gonna have superpowers as well, like in with no Scarlet Witch, or
No.
what's the name of that show again? Scarlet Witch and WandaVision.
No, she's not gonna have superpowers.
Well, remember that girl, that kid from Captain Marvel, and then she ended up in WandaVision, and all of a sudden she gained powers.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna get powers. If anything, she's gonna be the new Black Widow.
All of a sudden, people are starting to have powers in this universe. You know what I'm saying? For no apparent reason. They're just having powers all of a sudden. Do you think it's
Well,
impossible?
that's how is that anything strange? That's always how it's worked. I mean, look at Spider-Man. He just gets bitten by a spider and suddenly gets superpowers. You could,
No, that's why, because you were saying like, oh, they're not gonna do this in here. Like, well, she can be Black Widow with powers.
But why?
I don't know. It's Marvel. Another character from comics or something. That's why. Well, anyway, what else do you think about the movie?
I don't know.
Well, I definitely recommend this movie to each and every one of you guys, because it's an awesome movie, and especially now, like restrictions are like how can I say, they're being easy with the restriction and all of that. So like people are like going out in the movies and enjoying themselves. Like we don't have to like social distance as much like we used to, and like, well, here in our state, like face mask is optional if you're vaccinated, they say, but for your safety, like wear your face mask as well, like we do. But it's nice to see like a lot of people like in the movie theaters reacting to the movie and enjoying themselves, and all, especially when they're making jokes in this movie, Captain Black Widow. They're making jokes, and like people are like laughing. But one thing I didn't miss in the movie theater is like those people who are like making unnecessary noises. That's one thing that needs to go and stay in the past. Hopefully like people like learn the value, like gatherings and all of that because of this pandemic. That's why. Oh, I remember like that scene where she tried doing the pose.
Yeah. Well, she didn't try doing the pose. It's just she happened to make it.
And then I don't know, I feel like she tried doing it and then she started like saying ew, ew.
No, because she dropped down from the thing, and that's how she landed.
And like, yeah. Oh, and here's the thing in this movie as well. Like she fall in places and all of that. Like she smash herself into things, and for some reason like she can walk perfectly fine.
It's like action movie rules. Like, oh, she gets a little banged up, and like you can see sometimes she's having a harder time, but a scene later she's okay.
She can fight. Well, anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this spoiler review for Black Widow, and hopefully you guys enjoy our spoiler review, and hopefully you guys can give this a like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to support him and subscribe to his channel.
You can catch me over at Jonny Skywatcher. I also have a Twitch channel you can look at. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I do a webcast at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where I like to talk about what's new in movie, TV, and gaming, or anything else I can find on the internet.
Hopefully you guys can support me in my GoFundMe campaign down in the description below. And please be kind in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my future video. Bye! Bye!